Let's go to New Jersey, where yet another car accident occurred. That is, as ICE agents were chasing a man through the streets, like like they're in a car chase video because they think that's cool. This is the follow up and fallout from it.
I'll beat you the up out here. What you think you talking about? Yo, you throw that mace, I'm gonna mace you. Play with me. Serve the people. You supposed to work for the people. These mother. No, but you talking to me. You talking to them. Turn around and look at them before they grab her. Turn around and look at them before they grab her, bro. Tough if you want.
Y'all chasing immigrants and you mother
I heard chasing mother in the goddamn snow. Nice. Word up. You should be arresting these mother.
Fact.
These mother should be in cuffs.
Fact.
They shouldn't be standing around. Whoever was driving that G-Ride should be in cuffs.
Fact.
And pull the man down. Look at this Tom ass. Ain't nobody threatening them. They the one that's running people over.
They not supposed
How
to
you
be
feel
here.
about yourself?
No, that's
Right. Get them. They got what they want. Get them
Right here,
out of here.
pigs.
They got what they want. Get them the out of here.
Jersey folks, sounding like Jersey folks, confronting these ICE agents after that horrific car accident that you then saw in the streets there in Jersey. In case you didn't hear about the details of what is that went down, CNN has got you covered.
A pursuit by ICE agents in Newark ended in a multi-car crash involving 3 children, according to the mayor. ICE agents were attempting to pull over a van, which led to a car chase through the city, the mayor says. An eyewitness says the van appeared to try and avoid a bus, crossed into oncoming traffic, and hit 2 vehicles, including an SUV carrying children. The eyewitness says the ICE vehicle didn't hit any cars. Video filmed after the crash shows authorities chasing after an unidentified suspect before detaining the person outside of a house. It's unclear why the driver was being pursued by ICE. Mayor Ras Baraka criticised ICE in his statement, saying New Jersey law prohibits law enforcement from chasing vehicles unless the suspect poses an imminent threat. ICE cannot come into our city and recklessly put innocent people in harm's way while they try to apprehend their targets. CNN has reached out to the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, and Newark Public Safety Department for information.
So as you can see, another car accident, this time in the snow. As we know, the Northeast got pelted with huge snowstorms just a few days ago, and that doesn't halt ICE agents from speeding through the streets, chasing someone down and causing more accidents. But the thing is Ras Baraka, the mayor there, I believe in Newark, then pointed something out. But I'm going to get to the rest of the statement, which I think is really big on this, and it makes a lot of sense as to his opposition to it. But you know what? I was enjoying those Jersey guys, berating these ICE agents so much. I want to let them finish their thoughts.
Yo, record what he's saying. They're lying. They're lying. They're lying. Word up.
I got Big Brian here.
She looks like she got some Spanish people in her family. You're out here doing this shit. You should ashamed of yourself. For the love of money. For the love of money. You go out here trying to kill your own people. You disgusting. Word up. I'll be broke for the rest of my life if I do this. Y'all doing? Working for Trump? That's what you doing? You a savage. Secret police. That's what the your parents raised? This what they raised y'all to be? Goddamn savages. For money, bro. For money. For money, you motherfuckers take these jobs. Y'all some scumbags. Nah, let that try that shit. I'll beat the shit out of my head. I don't need no gun. I don't need no mace. I'll beat the shit out of that. He could stay. He want to fight, we can get it shaking out here. He can stay.
The fight didn't happen. I see many times these agents do like to engage in fights, but many times they do it when they surround one guy or, when they surround one woman, snatch her around, beat her up, throw her on the ground, step on her head, handcuff her, and carry her away. Because, they're courageous. They're patriots. But when someone says, I'm ready for it, I don't think they're ready for it. But I did promise Mayor Ras Baraka's statement on this whole thing. And again, why it means so much more in this particular situation, because as it happened, the target that they were chasing is the one who collided with other cars as they were speeding through intersections, and he was doing all kinds of crazy maneuvers to evade them. More of this statement from Ras Baraka. Down there in that second paragraph, it says federal authorities should adhere to local laws regarding vehicle pursuits and exercise common sense. Based on the damage that they are inflicting on our communities, ICE has no business engaging in chases at any time, anywhere, but especially in dense populated areas and on roads still being cleared from a significant snowstorm. And this is the point that they pointed out, that CNN article pointed out. ICE cannot come into our city and recklessly put innocent people in harm's way while they try to apprehend their targets. Here's the last part. State law prohibits law enforcement from chasing vehicles unless the suspect poses an imminent threat. It's one of those things that I don't think you have to be, a law enforcement person to realize that there's been rules in place all over the country for actual law enforcement when they're chasing someone. If it poses too much of a threat, if it's too dangerous in a populated area, you don't continue speeding down streets at 70, 80 miles an hour, forcing a person who's obviously trying to evade you to do that as well. It becomes one of those situations where you're pressing the issue and you know that it could end badly, and you don't want to be responsible for someone's death. But this is ICE and Border Patrol. That's like what they want is death. Federal officials said that the crash occurred during a, quote, targeted operation to arrest Christian Oswaldo Guevara Guerra, who had been previously charged with receiving stolen property and was issued a final removal order in October of 2017. That's what DHS said. Here's a quote. After a head-on collision with a civilian vehicle, Guevara was taken into ICE custody. 3 children were taken into the hospital as a result of this illegal alien dangerously fleeing authorities. Nothing about the dangerous authorities that are chasing people through the streets with absolutely no regard for those children that were involved in this accident. The department said that Mr. Guevara Guerra had attempted to ram the vehicle driven by ICE agents to avoid arrest, and during the chase, his van struck other vehicles, including one containing, again, those children, a 12-year-old and 2 15-year-olds, all of whom are siblings. And I believe I read something where they said the mother said they're okay. That's luckily, I'm glad that they're okay. They just don't care. So because the mayor was on a bit of a tirade, this is then what he said he's going to do about it. And this is always the question that I have. Look, it happened. He's upset. He put forward a statement. He's pointing out where they went wrong, which he's correct on. And after that, what are you going to do to stop them? Mr. Baraka said that endangering the community to apprehend an undocumented immigrant accused of receiving stolen property was a ridiculous misapplication of force. Here's a quote from him as well. This cowboy, wild, wild west stuff is not only dangerous, it's proven not to work. You're letting them out in the streets in an urban area, snowfalling, kids going back and forth to school during rush hour to chase people through the streets for receiving stolen property. It's bizarre. What it is, it's them doing whatever the hell they want, because the president, Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, all the rest of these guys said, hey, do whatever you want. Here's more of what the mayor is going to do. Hours after the crash, Mr. Baraka signed an executive order to limit and document illegal immigration enforcement in Newark. He said that the crash had compelled him to enact the decree sooner than he originally planned. He said ICE should not be engaged in car chases through the city, and added that the executive order would help provide clarity to residents and city workers who are confused about how they should respond to immigration officers. Here's a quote from him. We need to let the public know that we are not in cahoots with these guys, that we are not in support of what's happening, that we are opposed to it. I think it's very important for him to do that. There's always questions. It happened, I believe, in LA when LAPD was in a way assisting, but they were talking about being crowd control as they assisted them to continue to abduct and assault people. And what they were doing was, keeping the peace, while then the chaotic people were, not keeping the peace. Maybe something could change here, specifically in what it is that this mayor is talking about. But last quote and last discussions about what it is that he's doing about it. The executive order Mr. Baraka signed on Wednesday requires city employees to report any wrongdoing or unconstitutional ICE activity on city property. The order empowers employees to observe federal agents at a safe distance, and it requires them to document any violations of city, state, or federal laws and report it to their superiors. It also restricts the city's law enforcement agencies from cooperating in civil immigration enforcement activities. It keeps the city's law enforcement agencies from cooperating. I love that part. Now, that doing that without a warrant or a judicial order, which of course this administration is saying they don't want any more of. Mr. Baraka said that ICE agents did not receive enough training, especially compared to the city's police officers, and called the disparity in training a slap in the face for both Newark residents and their police force. Imagine what we should be doing with ICE, as their objective is actually to cause chaos and to screw people up. But it reminded me of a tragic previous accident that happened that apparently this Department of Homeland Security doesn't give a damn about, because obviously the policies haven't changed, the training hasn't changed, because they don't care about who they end up killing from, their quota numbers that they're looking for kidnapping people in the streets. Do you guys remember this? This is just from a couple weeks ago.
She turned left, so she was right next to me. There's 2 lanes to turn right, and I was in the one that would have put me in the fast lane. So as her and I are both moving, she got hit on the driver's side. That would have been head on. So if she had not been there, she would have hit me, and then my 3-year-old toddler who sits right behind me. Baby wouldn't have made it.
The scene from when Linda Davis, that I believe special ed teacher down in Savannah, Georgia, was killed in a very similar situation where ICE agents, DHS, who knows, CBP officers were chasing after another one of their targets. And then he also collided with her, killing her. And the response from these folks, who just had a State of the Union and could have invited her family and talk about how they're not going to do this shit anymore, was, "I don't give a damn. It's those illegal aliens' fault." Despite any normal processes when it comes to law enforcement and high-speed chases, they just don't care.